Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to make a little video today about nutrition, something we always talking about around the gym. Number one most asked question is, how to eat right, or what should we eat, all that kind of stuff. I believe over the years that I've found a way. I'm not a nutritionist, so you can take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But over the years, I've seen a lot of people try and do different things, working out a program like ours, and I've seen what helps, what doesn't help. And we were talking about the other day about setting up maybe nutrition plans, individualized nutrition plans for people. But I'm not a big believer in that, and the reason is I don't think people should be charged money for this kind of information. The reason is you were designed a certain way, and these are kinds of things that you could. My point is, you could go to somebody and pay them a bunch of money, and if you don't follow it, it doesn't make sense to you. So it's got to be something. I think you got a journey that you got to find on your own. Now I have a couple ideas and a couple like starting points and a couple of things that I know work well for people, but to write out these plans that maybe people aren't as invested in as if they were to take the time themselves and figure out what works for themselves. So I'm gonna get started with this, okay? The first thing we're gonna talk about is order of importance or hierarchy, however you wanna look at it. Hope you can read my writing. The first and most important thing, and if you didn't do anything else with yourself, would be a calories in, calories out. Your body's a machine. You take in a certain amount of food. If you burn more calories than that in a day, you're going to lose weight. If you eat more, you're going to gain weight. If you eat the right amount, then you're just going to maintain. I know that's an oversimplified explanation, but it really is pretty much that simple, give or take a few variables. So that's the most important thing. The second thing is our macros. Macros being protein, fat, carbohydrate, how those affect the body. And those would be the second things we would concern ourselves after our calories in, calories out is dialed in. The next thing would be timing, and the next one would be supplementation. I'm not going to cover these two today. I'm going to mainly focus on number one here and number two. So hang out and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So like I was saying, the first thing we're going to talk about today is this calories in, calories out. Body's a machine, taking a certain amount of fuel, burn more fuel than you take in, you're going to lose weight. Take more calories in than you burn, you're going to gain weight. If you take in the same amount, you're going to maintain weight. Everybody's different, and everybody's got a set point. Genetics, a lot of things play into it, but what we like to do as a starting point for everybody is their weight times 10. So for me, for example, I'm 180 pounds. Times 10, real simple, 1,800 calories a day. That would be my starting point. The thing about this is, to get this going, to get this started, you should take a week and just measure how many days you actually hit this amount. Now, obviously, everybody's different again, but what we'd want to do is take one of those apps, MyFitnessPal or whatever one you use, and measure how many calories, punch in all the food you eat for the day, and measure how many calories and see if it equals this 1,800. There's a thing about, if you don't take in enough calories, your body plays this trick of storing fat. It goes into this starvation mode, and you actually gain weight by taking in not enough calories. And then the other end of the scale is obviously if you eat too much, you're gonna gain weight. But to be honest, I haven't met a ton of people that's their issue. I meet a lot of people that don't eat enough, and they keep under eating actually, and gaining weight that way, which is, I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what the body does, So anyway, try this out for a week. Try and get to your goal. Add your weight times 10, get the calories, and then go from there. And after a week, we're gonna come back and we're gonna break it down into the macros, okay? And I'm gonna go over that in this next section, okay? All right, another quick part we're gonna cover here real quick is macros. So we have protein, fat, carbohydrate. We're gonna take that 1,800 calories or whatever your calorie allowance for the day is, and we're gonna divide it into these proportions right here. 50% of your total intake from protein, 25 from fat, 25 from carbohydrate. Here's the thing. These two are kind of, you can kind of play around with those a little bit. Some people do not very good with carbohydrates. So some people need even a lower amount than that as far as body composition, losing fat. Some people don't have any problem with it. So they can even lower this one and raise this one. These are interchangeable. That's my main point. And you won't know until you start messing around with it to see where you're at if you need to adjust these two. But as everybody's starting out, we're gonna do 25, 25. That's my recommendation, okay? Yeah, so I'm gonna show in this next section how we break that down into our, get it to actual like grams of food and all that stuff, okay? Hold on. Okay, here we go. So this is how we're gonna apply these macros. Let's just say we're trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose weight. I got 1,800 calories a day. I'm gonna take off 300 calories, put myself in a deficit. If we're assuming this is my maintenance, right? So I have 1,500 calories a day to play with. This is my protein, 1,500 calories times 0.50, which is 50% of our total calories, equals 750 calories. Each gram of protein is 4 calories. So we divide 750 by 4. That gives us 190 grams of protein for the day, okay? Our fat is 1,500 calories times 25% equals 375 calories. Something I didn't mention before, there's per gram of fat, there's 9 calories in fat. So there's a little bit more calories in it. That's why you get less. 375 divided by 9 is 40 grams. I've rounded these numbers out just to make it easy because it gets crazy with 42 and 187 and all this stuff. But anyway, and then the carbohydrates, same thing. 1,500 times 0.25 equals 375 calories divided by 4 because there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate equals about 100 grams, okay? So that would be your total amount of food, which equals, real quick, let's see, what is that total? Oh God, I have to do this with, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. 330 grams total a day of food. So that would be what you would have on a 1,500 calorie diet if you divide your food this way. So a maintenance plan, saying you're good to go. You just want to maintain where you're at. I'm just doing this for an example. 1,800 calories times 0.50 equals 900 calories. Divided by 4 equals 225 grams. 1,800 of fat calories in grams would be 1,800 times 0.25, 450 calories divided by 9, 50 grams. Carbohydrate, 1,800 calories divided by 25, 450, get 120 grams a day. So for a grand total of, oh man, here we go again. 395 grams. So that's it. That's how you would divide it up. Now you know the grams. Now you know how much to take in. Where do we go from here? That's coming up next. Hold on. Okay, continuing on. So we have these 1,800 calories a day. Let's say you eat 3 times a day. That's standard way people eat. You can divide it by 2. You can divide it by 5. You can divide it by 1. Whatever you want to do. But I'm going to do for 3 meals a day. Each meal is going to be 600 calories, right? Our protein for each meal, how much we should have, times 0.5, which is 50%, equals 300 calories divided by 4. That's 75 grams of protein per meal. For fat, 600 times 0.25, 150 divided by 9, that's about 15 grams. And then carbohydrates, 600 times 0.25, 150 calories divided by 4 is about 35 grams. What does that look like? What does 75 grams of protein look like to us? Well, 8 ounces of beef or chicken or fish or whatever is approximately 50, we'll say 40 is more realistic, depending on it. 40 to 55 grams. For our fat, what do I got for fat? I got a half an avocado. Avocado equals 10 to 15 grams of fat. This is a fat, protein, carbohydrate. And then for carbohydrate, I have half a cup or 8 ounces of sweet potato. Equals, write it down. It's about 20 though, 20 grams. So you can see on each of these, for me, I have to eat a little bit more than 8 ounces. Usually not a problem. Half an avocado, that seems like a very small amount, and it is, but you don't get a lot of fat on a diet like this. Half a cup of sweet potato, 20 grams, so I could eat, you know, a full cup or close to a full cup. You know, just for reference, 2 slices of bread, 2 slice of bread equals, and also 2 corn tortillas are about the same. I'm gonna have to erase my little guy. See you, dude. Tortillas equals, these are about 20 to 30 grams. So if you were to have 2 slices of bread or 2 corn tortillas with each meal, you pretty much get to this if you're, you know, my size and weight or whatever. So this would be a meal for me. About approximately 10 ounces of meat, half an avocado, and sweet potato. So that's what a meal would look like. And I'm gonna go over some food choices coming up here next. Okay, food choices. I'm gonna say something controversial, but I don't feel like it doesn't matter where you get these from. There's been some studies as of late when people get concerned with, you know, fats from pork, bacon, meat that's not grass-fed, or meat that's just, you know, corn fed or whatever, processed, unprocessed carbs. There's been some studies that those things aren't as important. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. And that if we're talking about longevity, those things might come into play more if you're talking about, you know, evolutionary diet, nutrition. Those things probably come into play more. If we're just talking about losing weight and being healthy and be able to come in and do your workout, I don't think those things are as important, the quality of where they come from. That being said, I'm gonna cover these things because I think if it's not important, then you're just going the extra mile. If it is important, then you're gonna be okie dokie, okay? Protein, meats, fishes, poultry, whatever it is, the quality of it, you would want to shoot for grass-fed, free range. What else do they got? You know, no antibiotics. I don't know. There's a million different things. Organic, all that stuff. So if you have the means and you care about this stuff, I would definitely go for the higher quality stuff. Other form of protein we would get into is shakes. I'm not going to touch the vegetarian side of the thing because, first of all, I don't really even know shit about it, to be honest. And second of all, I don't believe you can sustain a lifestyle of these types of workouts and do it. Or I don't know anybody personally that's been able to do it, that's thrived in something like this. So I could be wrong, but I just don't know anybody. So, and I'm not going to talk out of turn on stuff that I don't know. Anyway, so that's the protein, right? Fats. We want to stick to these basic ones again if we're trying to do things the right way. Olive oil, avocado, fatty fishes, full fat dairy. Full fat dairy is not a problem. Don't get the 2% and 1%. It's trash. Don't waste your time. Get the full fat, butter, all that stuff. Nuts is a little tricky. There's some of those nuts in there that are just not as healthy for you. But we can go over that. Stick to the basic ones. Almonds. Peanuts are probably, even though it's not a nut, are probably okay. I really wouldn't get too caught up in that kind of stuff. I mean, you can look at something and know if it's healthy or not, right? And that's the basic of this. So carbs, we want to stay from anything processed. What do I got written down? Breads, pastas, sweet treats, stuff like that. We know those things aren't good for us. Can we never have them again? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we just got to monitor the amount we take in. If we're talking about a lifestyle, we want to stick to stuff, veggies, starches like sweet potatoes, brown rice, things like those. Those are the things we want to make the bulk of our choices in, okay? So I'm going to wrap this up and clear this board, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. I don't have a lot more to add. This is super important, this diet part. For one, losing weight, yeah, for sure. Gaining muscle, for sure. Longevity, living a longer, healthier life, for sure. You got to take responsibility for it yourself in all this. You can't run around and blame somebody else for not telling you or not know. The information out there, there's millions and billions of pages on the internet about this, and a lot of it's conflicting. So don't get caught up too much in that. Take the basics. You can look at something, like I said earlier, you can look at something and know if it's healthy or not for the most part. And the proper choice to make most of the time. The problem is that you and I and more than half this country haven't made those proper choices. But we can start right this second doing it. Don't take your health for granted, really. Like as you get older, especially as I get older, I see, things are slower to get back to normal. And a lot of that is a function of the abuses I put myself through earlier in life, but also, diet choices I didn't properly make all the time. And, it is important if you want to be around. It's a quality of life thing. I was telling somebody the other day about, I don't want to be bedridden at 50 and live to 100. I'd rather die at 70 going full bore, you know what I mean? So like all this plays into it. The things you put in your mouth and the things you put into your body do make a difference. So, just think about that every time you sit down and eat. If you need any help with any of this stuff, come down here, we'll write out a plan. If you need specific, like each meal, each the timing and everything, we can work on that. We can do that. And we're not looking to try and make money doing that. I just want to make sure that everybody at least knows the information and can get out there and make good choices for themselves. So thanks for your time. I know this went a little long and I wasn't as coherent as I wanted it to be, but I'm gonna roll with it. So thanks. I'll see you guys around.